what's up everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'm finally sharing with you my July wrap-up. I've been slacking when it comes to my wrap-ups. I know for a fact that I didn't do my June wrap-up, but it is what it is. So let's get started with this July wrap-up. So the first thing, or one of the books that, or mangas that I have read in July, is A Reincarnated Witch Spells Doom. This is a manga. This is the first volume that just recently came out. I wanted to give this a try because I loved like the whole synopsis of it all, of a girl in the normal world. She gets hit by a truck. But she gets a second chance at life as a witch. And so she's in this whole new world. So I was really interested in that. And also I have a feeling it's more, I think a romance is starting to brew up a little bit. But I was really interested in reading this once I saw this on Instagram. I don't remember who had posted it about the release of this, but I was like, okay, I definitely got to give it a try. So I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm definitely looking forward to reading the second volume, which I don't know when that comes out, but I know will be coming out really soon. The next manga that I read in July is The Dragon Knight's Beloved. This is volume 5. I have been enjoying this series so far with these volumes. Like, I loved how the world is, and it's mostly concerned with filled with dragons, and we have one of the main characters in the manga where she is taking care of the blue dragon, who pretty much looks up to her and whatnot. And I just loved it. I love the fact how they have a bond with one another, and she does a lot of things, you know, as far as, since the blue dragon doesn't have his mother or whatever, she is pretty much replacing, you know, the main character here takes on that responsibility as the mother. And so she's caring for him, and just taking care of him and showing him love and kindness. And so I do love the romance within both of these two characters as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to keep on reading within the 6th volume. I'm not sure when that one comes out either. I usually get updates on Instagram mostly, but I will keep y'all posted, maybe in my Instagram or whatever, IG, if I have any more updates about when the next volume comes out. But this recently just came out, and I'm looking forward to the 6th volume. The next mangas I read, which I've read, let me see, a total of, because this is all in one series. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And so I read volumes 3 through 15 for this series, and that is Snow White with the red hair. Like, I am obsessed with this series. I have the remainder of the mangas that I need to read, which I'm hoping to read, if in September, if not, it'll be in October. But I love Shirayuki, I love Zen, I love Mitsuhide, I love Kiki, I love Obi. Like, I am in love with each and every one of these characters. I love Ryu, who's also an herbalist with Shirayuki, and just seeing how each and every one of these characters has transformed and has grown from the first volume on. So yeah, like I said, I've been talking about this series for quite a while on my channel, especially on my reading sprints, of how like obsessed I am with these, and so obsessed, like I also watched the show, which I think it's on Hulu. I only think the first season is only on Hulu, and then the second season, I forget which streaming app has the second season. But I really hope that they do a 3rd season. I want to know what happens with Shirayuki and Zen. Right now, so far, with just what I've read, they haven't gotten married yet. They are actually on their own journeys, and Shirayuki is leaving the palace to somewhere else, Lilias, to learn more about her craft as an herbalist, and to study more with Ryu as well. So I had enjoyed every single moment of these. With these volumes, I rated them between a 4 and a 5 star. So let me know if you read any of these. I really want to know. Like, I've been trying to have people read them, and a lot of people haven't been wanting to, which is fine. There's only a handful of people that I know that have been reading Snow White with the red hair. So yeah, I love this series, and I cannot wait to read more. So here is this. And then the next book that I read, which I did a book review for, which I'll leave it up above. I won't go too in depth in detail since I did a whole book review just with this book alone. And that is The Thing About Home. This is by Rhonda McKnight. I enjoyed this so much, especially when it comes especially when it brings up the aspect of family and how precious family is and how valuable family is, and how you still have time to reconcile with your family members or get to know the family members that you felt just abandoned you, or you just didn't get to know because your mother or your father or whatever was, depriving you of getting to know one side of your family that you just didn't know about. And I enjoyed it. I love books that talk about families, and it brings up family secrets, and it talks about history, about ancestors. I'm all for books like that. I love reading books like that, because even when it comes to family secrets, yes, a lot of people don't want to keep reading books about, Black families and family secrets that are being kept from so many generations and on, and how it's a cycle that needs to be broken. But I feel like with books that constantly talks about that, I feel like that is acknowledging the fact that we need to break these cycles, because it's still occurring to this very day, with families holding secrets from one another. So I love this. Please check out my book review if you want to get a more in-depth review for this book. But I loved it, and I really hope that after you watch my review, you will pick this book up and see what I mean about what I say, how valuable family is. Sorry, I cannot talk today. So I read this. Next one I read, it's a comic. This is the first volume, and it was very interesting. It had monsters and stuff in it. I did my own review for this one as well, so I won't go too much in depth with it, but it's called Heart Eyes. This is by Hopeless, Ibanez, Diaz, and Boldlin. And I loved the graphics in this. I enjoyed reading this and getting to know the character about these monsters and how she actually controls them, even though, in a sense. So I definitely will be reading more. Probably getting the second book for this, because I'm really interested. I need to continue on reading this. I want to know more about the main character. We got to see the beginning of how she grew up, and how she was brought into America. So I thought this was very powerful. And like I said, I did a review of this by itself already, which I'll leave up above so you can check it out for yourself. So I read this. The next book that I read and also did a book review for is The Judas Blessings by Stephen Aryan. This is really good. Now, this is more like historical fantasy. It's set in 1260s Persia, where we're talking about Kublai Khan and their family of the Khan, the Mongol Empire, and we get to meet all these different characters, and I'm excited for the second book. Because of how it ended. It left on a cliffhanger, and I need answers, and they need to be answered. So the author did say that the next book isn't going to be coming out until sometime next year, which that's fine. I will wait patiently, because I really enjoyed this book. It's very epic. It's bloody. It's brutal. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Even when it says on the back, it says family and war collide in this thrilling and bloody reimagining of the Mongol Empire's invasion of Persia. So there's a lot going on here, and some civil war is possibly brewing up, which I feel like will be happening in the second book. But definitely check out my book review for more in-depth detail about this one. But I really love this, and I'm looking forward to the second book. The next book that I read, which I need to be honest with y'all, I didn't finish this book in July. I finished in August this month, but it's okay. I'm still adding this as my July wrap up. I'm still adding it to my July wrap up. So I read The Wall of the Storms. This is by Ken Liu. This is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty series. And I've been reading it with friends. I've been reading with, I think, Jira, Tia, Elise's, Bree, Adrian from Sister Harlem. We've been reading these all together, and we just been having a great time. Well, this month we're supposed to be reading the next book in the series, which is The Veiled Throne. And this was a chunker. It took me a moment to get through it, but I understand why. It has a lot of depth and detail, which I love. And I know why people love this book so much in the series. They just love this. This is their favorite book. I mean, there was some moments where I cried because the characters are gone, and just betrayal, and just what? It had me going all over the place, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Of course, just with how much I loved it, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I would give it more than that too. And I look forward to reading more by Ken Liu. This was just a fantastic read. It's thrilling. It's bloody. It's war. Like I said, betrayal and sibling rivalry. You know, it's a lot. It is a lot, and I love it. And secrets too. Like, I'm here for it. So I loved it, and I gave this 5 stars. I cannot wait to read The Veiled Throne because I know that's going to be a good book too. So I read this. Next book that I read is that Brie and I have been doing Zora Neale Hurston read along this year, and we had read Tell My Horse, of course, by Zora Neale Hurston, and I loved it. It talks about voodoo and life in Haiti and Jamaica, and it makes me, as we're reading these books together and with people that have joined us, I feel like we're getting to know Zora, and I think about how she died alone and died, and she was in an unmarked grave, and just from knowing more about her dad and her mom and her childhood and the relationship she had and the marriages she had and stuff, I'm starting to get a sense of who Zora was. And it's sad, but I know this month we're reading Dust on the Tracks. That's her memoir, and I definitely feel like we're going to get even more information about Zora. But I enjoyed this so much. I gave this a 3.5 or 3.5 stars, I believe. I rounded up to 4. So yeah, this is really good. If you haven't watched our live discussion, I will leave that up above so you can check that out for this one. The next book that I read, which was my book club pick for my members, and for other people that wanted to join. And we last month we read Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, which is so freaking good. I need the second one. I need to know what happens. I need to know. So we did a whole live discussion about this book, and I also did a book review. So I won't go too much with this book at all as far as in-depth detail, because not only did I do a live discussion, I also did a book review. But I will let y'all know I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. But that's all I'm going to say. You got to either watch the live discussion or my book review to get more information about this book. And if you haven't picked it up yet, I highly recommend it that you do so. So here we have it, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. The next book that I read, which I had Buddy read this with Zora, and I'm glad that we read it together because this was such a great book. And then I know Jan also read it too. A lot of people have read this book, and it doesn't get the props that it deserves because this book is really good. I was not expecting it to be this good. I'm just being honest with y'all, but I enjoyed it. And that is Divine Rivals. This is by Rebecca Ross. This was so cute. It's like two people that were like pretty much frenemies, and then they were like enemies to lovers, but she didn't know who the person that was corresponding to her or whatever, because they both have these like magical typewriters. She didn't know where her letters were going, and he figured out who she was this whole time, and he did not share with her who his true identity was, who he was, until like closer to the very end of this book. But I love this. This was so cute and romantic with the letters that they kept sending to one another. And just this world was amazing. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars for Divine Rivals. I know the next book, I think comes out either in November or December. I already have pre-ordered my copy for the second book already because I need it. Hopefully Fairy Loot will have an edition for the second book or whatever. Hopefully, I would think so, because this is spot on. And even on the back it says 2 rivals, 2 stories, 2 hearts, 1 fate. So, and just the secrets regarding her brother as well. Oh, all right, but I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get to it, but definitely I highly recommend y'all read this. And once again, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And then last but not least, I read, or my daughter read, a picture book with her brothers, and she read Julie and the Mango Tree. And this was just a fun read. I loved it. I loved how like she loved, like my kids loves fruit, and so this was just a fun and fantastic read that my daughter did. But it was a cute read, and based off what my daughter and my kids said about this book, they rated it a 5 to 5 stars. They want to read this book right here by the author as well, which is written by Sade Smith and illustrated by Siada Rambiel. They want to read Granny's Kitchen. So I'm going to try to see if I can track down this one too, because they want to read that. So, but yeah, my kids rated this a 5 to 5 stars. And of course, I'm going to agree with them. But there we have it. We have Julie and the Mango Tree. But that is it. Those are all the books and mangas that I have read in July. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you are all staying healthy and staying safe. See ya!